Good afternoon, sports fans. JP from Henry Amps here. Just wanted to do a quick little video with this 1965 Vox Pacemaker combo that came into the shop. This thing's 100% original. I added a 3-prong power cable to it, but otherwise everything, tubes, capacitors, everything were original and still working fine. I wanted to compare it to a brand new SRT Plus head, just came right off the bench this weekend. This head's also going to be going to Destroy All Guitars. It's going to be the first one, along with another SRT Plus combo that we're going to be sending to them later this week once speakers come in. So, just wanted to take a minute to do this. The Pacemaker, getting back to that for a second, this Pacemaker, it's one of the first US-made Voxes when the Thomas Organ Company began distributing Vox in the United States. So, and it's one of, Thomas Organ very quickly went from tube circuits to solid state. So this is one of the only 100% tube Vox circuits made by Thomas Organ in America, to my knowledge. I'm no historian, so if I'm wrong about that, please correct me. I like to learn as much as I can from others. So from everything I could gather, the Pacemaker, the tube Pacemaker, one of the first Thomas Organ Voxes, and one of the only all-tube Voxes. It's actually very similar circuit-wise to the British Vox UL710 model. Very, very similar circuit. I think the 710 had reverb. That would be the big difference. But it was that same lousy reverb that the original SRTs had as well. Tone stack is the same as the 710, and most of the signal path is the same. I wouldn't be shocked if Thomas Organ used the same parts that they probably bought from JMI, I would guess, to build this, and then eventually got into their own thing with transistors and whatnot. So yeah, really similar amps, and the lineage of both you can kind of trace back to the SRT Plus, because they're a little different than the traditional Voxes, the AC-15, AC-30s, in that they both the original SRT, Pacemaker, UL710 all use a cathodiene phase splitter. We use that in the SRT Plus. They've all got a tremolo circuit that's a little more of like an Ampeg Fender style tremolo. And again, some of the older Voxes used a different tremolo, more unique tremolo for lack of a better term. I'm not going to say better or worse. That's up to you. But yeah, so there's a certain lineage. The original AC-10 SRT was an oddball for Vox, and then some of that oddball stuff kind of crept into the Pacemaker and the UL710 before the transistor experiments began. So anyhow, I've got my Les Paul here, and I've got a little AV box down here. There we go. So I'm going to switch back and forth between these. I've tried to set the SRT Plus as close as I can to match the Pacemaker. The Pacemaker's a little more specific in its sound. It doesn't have a wide range. I mean, already we've got the volume halfway, and there's little to no breakup with humbuckers. All the inputs are the same. I think when you have multiple instruments plugged in, you'll get a decrease in volume, but plugging one instrument, it's got 3 inputs, but plugging an instrument into any of the 3 yields the same exact amount of power on the output. So no difference there. And this is, treble and bass are both at noon. The control dials only go up to 6. So they're technically all on 3, if that makes any sense. Beautiful cleans though. Reminds me a lot of like a Fender, like a 6G2 Princeton, which is a favorite Fender of mine. You have like a 6G2 with a treble and bass tone stack. I'll flip over to the SRT Plus. It's a little more full sounding. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the SRT Plus is going through a 12-inch. It's going through a WGS Blackhawk 50-watt 12-inch Alnico, whereas the Vox has the original 10-inch Bulldog Alnico. So you're going to get a little more bottom and a little more mid-range from the SRT for that reason. Back to the Pacemaker. SRT Plus. The Pacemaker does have a bright cap. I do not have a bright cap on the SRT Plus, but we have built custom SRTs with not only a bright cap, but we've also done, this is before I really knew much about the Pacemaker, we did a treble and bass EQ as an option on some of these instead of the normal tone control. And we used the same circuit that the Pacemaker has, which I had originally gotten from the UL 710 model. So it's an option. If anybody out there really likes the cleaner sound and the brighter sound of the Pacemaker, it's almost got an acoustic-like chime to it. That can be done on an SRT Plus as a custom option, so please talk to me. The thing is, you will lose, you'll gain some clean headroom on the SRT Plus with that mod, and you'll lose some of that like full mid-range bark that the SRT does, beginning at about halfway up. We're only about a quarter of the way up for this. I do wish I had a 10-inch speaker to compare to, but I really don't have a way to switch through speakers yet. Let me give you an example. That's what the SRT Plus does best, in my opinion. And to try something similar on the Pacemaker, you've got to turn it up about 3/4 of the way. Still not quite there. Let's dime it. So that's the Pacemaker volume dimed. And the SRT Plus still has a lot of range to go. You can push it a lot further than that if needed. That's about the most you're going to get from the Pacemaker. So really cool amp, a little limited in terms of what you can get from it, but an absolutely beautiful clean. Just for fun, let's do some dueling tremolo. I hadn't planned to do this, but I think it'll be pretty cool. Turn the trem halfway on both. Let's see, I haven't compared the trems side by side yet. That's the Pacemaker trem, and now the SRT Plus. Actually, that's still a little deeper. There we go. Pacemaker. SRT Plus. And now both. sounds beautiful together in the room. I hope it comes across. You won't really get the stereo image of it, but you hear certain notes come through the Pacemaker a little more, and then you hear other notes, the lower notes come through the SRT a little more, mostly due to that larger speaker. And it's really nice, that you get the sort of the chime coming through the Pacemaker and then the body coming through the SRT Plus, and the trems are almost synced up perfectly. But yeah, just wanted to do this little run through. Pacemaker is a super cool amp. I know Jason Isbell is a big fan of these, and his lead guitarist, apologies, his name escapes me right now, but I know they're big fans, and that's why the owner of this actually bought it after hearing that those guys dig it, and he brought it to me for a little, the 3-prong and a little cleanup. But there was not much to clean up because this amp, for a 100% original amp, it really sounds fantastic. So if you see one for a good price, don't hesitate. And then if you, if you're looking to get something freshly made with a similar sound, we can do that tone stack and bright cap on the SRT Plus. We do like a dual concentric control in place of the tone control. And I think we might have even done a bypass on that, so you could sort of get the, both best of both worlds. You get the full-bodied SRT sound with all that range and crunch, plus the ability to get a cleaner, chimier EQ. So yeah, just throwing this out there for the world. See you guys soon.